Hi, I'm Jessica Marshall from Anderson and Boback, and I'm here to talk to you today about prenuptial agreements and how they are a little bit different now that millennials are starting to get them. First and foremost, the age that people are getting married has been significantly pushed back. A lot of people are getting married later than they used to, and what that means is that the people who get married once their careers are established and they've had years of working have more substantial assets than they would have had they got married very young, right out of high school or college. And they want to protect those assets. And so one of the things that we're seeing in millennial prenuptial agreements is that there's substantial assets that need to be protected going into a marriage with a 401k or a pension, a significant savings account, owning real property. Those things need to be protected. If you want to take the things out of the marriage that you brought in, then you have to have a prenuptial agreement. Some of the other things that we're seeing that are very unique to millennial prenuptial agreements have to do with pet custody. Now, it's well established that you can't, in Illinois, discuss how to figure out a parenting time schedule or custody of children or children that you may have in the future, but pets are different. You can perhaps put into a prenuptial agreement that a dog or a cat was yours prior to getting married, so that if you divorce, there's no right then to your spouse to get that pet from you. Premarital agreements generally are not interpreted until a divorce case is filed. So with a premarital agreement, you have to keep in mind that there's some risk associated with what you're agreeing to. It gets filed once the divorce case is filed. Otherwise, you hold a copy, a signed copy, and it doesn't get interpreted by a judge until there is a divorce case. So at that point, the judge will decide what's enforceable and what is not. Another issue that we're seeing a lot of in millennial prenuptial agreements has to do with frozen embryos and how they will be allocated if there's a divorce. It's really cutting edge stuff in terms of how the courts deal with embryos upon a divorce. And typically what happens is there's a contract with the facility that's holding the frozen embryos, and that contract is signed by both parties at the time of services, and it indicates what happens to the frozen embryos. So a lot of times that will be given the preferential treatment unless you have a premarital agreement that indicates what's to happen with those upon a divorce. The final issue that I want to talk about today is allocation of debt. A lot of young people that are getting married have a ton of debt with the price of school skyrocketing, college and professional school and medical school and law school. People want to make sure they're not responsible for their spouse's debt. And so a lot of times we're seeing people requesting that the debt be allocated to the person who brought it into the marriage. So those are just some of the things that we're seeing in millennial prenuptial agreements. If you like this video, let us know you're here by leaving a comment or giving us a like. Thanks for joining us, and we'll talk to you soon.